Welcome back to What Arty Noobs with General Disturbance. Now you are looking at an AMX 1357. That's a Tier 7 French light tank, a premium tank, and we're located on the north spawn of Overlord. And the name of the commander is IndianaDel. And I think you can guess he comes from the United States, but he is a member of W-UNI, which is part of my clan. And the battle has commenced. Well, what can we say about the 1357? Well, it was a design of the AMX 13 tank with a 57mm gun. They started designing it in the 1950s, but they never really got to grips with the design, and unfortunately it was taken out of... it was never actually produced, because after a while the 75mm gun came along and they armed the 13 with the AMX 13 with that one instead, so it became the AMX 1375. Now this particular light tank has gone on sale occasionally in the gift shop. Wargaming occasionally puts it on sale at Christmas, but on this occasion they put it on sale at Easter, and it's on sale for one day only. Now it's got a ferocious reputation because it's got a very fast fire rate. It's got 8 rounds of ammunition to fire, 57mm, although they can only do about 90 hit points of damage per shot. They can still take out a much higher, better tank with one clip of ammo. The only problem is they only have 7 clips of 8 shells at a time. So what most drivers tend to do, or players tend to do, is pick on a target, fire enough shells to take it out, and then do an immediate reload so they can then start looking for another tank. It can be used as an active scout, but in this instance what IndianaDel's doing is he's actually looking but not shooting. He's trying to spot the enemy. And as a passive scout, the AMX 1357 can be quite useful. There you see, he's just assassinated that Panzer IV-H very, very quickly with just 2 shells. He picked a target, he popped back below the ridgeline after he'd done it, and now he's gone for a quick reload. It's a 15 seconds reload, so it's much better time. Half the time it takes the Lorraine 40T or the Sumur SM to reload. And of course, with 90 shells and 90 hit points per shot and 8 shells in the magazine, he can do close to 720 hit points of damage. Well, he's fired 3 rounds in there, but I don't know if any of those shells hit the target. Okay, he's relocating. Now it cannot be underestimated, the fact that you can do so much damage so quickly in this tank. It really is quite a little monster. And most people, once they actually see it still selling in gift shops, snap it up as quickly as they can, because it's something you really need to have as part of your armory. A lot of players play it as a passive tank, and the reason for that is that if they're spotted by the enemy, they're normally taken out very, very quickly, because it is such a threat. And he has been spotted there. Somebody spotted him. Okay, I don't know who it was. May have been the PK. I doubt it. It's probably the TOG who saw him. Yes, I think it was the TOG who saw him. And he's going in for that TOG. Okay, he's locked on. Damn it, he went into that wreck. But look at this. Round after round going in. That TOG was assassinated there very, very, very quickly with just 6 rounds. And he's now disappearing so he can reload. There's an AMX Type 64 there. Oh, he's just taken a shot from him, 98 hit points, but he fires 1 round in. And he's now in reload for 15 seconds, so he's got another 7 seconds to go, but the Type 64 has been taken out. Now it's a very quick little tank, and it can go in very quickly and do a quick circle of death around its target. And that's one of the reasons why people consider it such a threat to their vehicle and will try to take it out as quickly as they can. Now, scores are fairly even at the moment, 9 each. But Indiana's staying mostly close to this ridgeline, and I can understand why, because he is actually deterring the enemy from trying to move through the centre of the map. The enemy is being forced to concentrate their efforts on the cliff on the west side of the map, and that gives the other tanks a chance to focus their fire. Right, he's found a Stura Mill, and what's he going to do about that? Well, he could take out that Stura Mill with about 6 shots. I think that's what he's going to do. He's going to go in there and get rid of it. There is a Jackson nearby, but he's an inexperienced player, and he locks onto the Stura, and look at that, round, straight into the target, and he's finished off the Stura, and he's back into safety again, into the dip, or this bowl area. And he also picked up some spotting damage on the Jackson. Now he's reloading. He's only got 28 rounds of standard AP left and 1 clip of APCR. Now a lot of drivers of the 1357 do carry mostly APCR because they're going in against much heavier and harder tanks, bigger tanks. But it does actually help to mix and match, because you want to maximize your profit on this vehicle, because you're going to be doing a lot of damage, taking out a lot of tanks, and therefore it helps if you've got the right ammo for the job. Okay, he's found the Panzer 4H and he fires around him, but it is then taken out by the Strip M42, so he doesn't claim that one. In fact, actually I think it wasn't the yes, it was the Strip M42. I thought for a second it wasn't, but we also lost a Panzer 4H on our team as well. Okay, or on IndianaDel's team. And he's cleared up this area, this side of the map. There's still the problem with that Jackson. We don't know where he is, but I suspect he's near the enemy cap. Scores are still fairly even, but there is one heavy out there. And the enemy's got a GW Panther. Now, that's a tier 7 Arty. This is a tier 7 game. And of course the AMX 1357 is a tier 7 light tank. And apparently it is top tier on a lot of the occasions that it's being played. Okay, he's round at the back now. I don't think the GW Panther's over this side of the map. If it was, he would have spotted it by now. So I think the other one's over the other side. And there's the Jackson. Okay, now he's going in for it, and he gets first shot in, second shot kills him, and there's the GW Panther. Now he can go straight in and take that GW out. Oh, it looks like the GW is running for it. Who is he going to make stand and turn and take a fight? Well, he fires the first round in. The GW has derped his round into the wall, and look at that. He didn't have enough rounds to take out the GW. And now the last round, actually he did have enough rounds, sorry, and he fired the last round in, takes out the GW. That just leaves the one remaining enemy tank to take down, and that's a 3601H. Now he was last seen at the other end of the map, and he's reloaded and he's ready to go, and he's got standard AP. So it looks like he thinks he can get away with killing the 3601 with just standard ammo, and I think that's probably correct. As you can see down here, see at the bottom, the ammo has got a penetration of 143, and that's more than enough to get through the armour of the 3601H. Okay, he's into the bowl again. It's a good area to actually move ahead and move from one side of the map to the other without actually being spotted, because you are in a dip as you're going through. Okay, now where did that 3601H go? Well, I suspect he's probably close to the enemy cap, or he's hunting some of IndianaDel's forces. I'm pretty sure we'll see him very, very shortly. I think he might be a bit further west though. Well, we're about to find out, I think, because we're nearly at the back of the map. There he is! Right, so it looks like he was hunting, but now he's going to become the hunted. Comes around the corner. Can he get a shot? No. And Arty round goes in. Now the Arty we've got is a Crusader SP, and that's a pretty good Arty. It's a tier 7 British Arty. It's the most unusual one in the game because it actually fires backwards. But it's actually got quite a decent punch and a very good reload time. Now, I think he's just using that building for cover at the moment, poking his head round. He wanted to get his position exactly right to spot for it. And the good thing is that if he was to allow the Crusader to put some rounds into that 3601, and Arty does it again, 204 hit points and some nice stun there. That's going to make it much more easy for IndianaDel to take that 3601 out. He's fired one round off and he missed. He needs to get close to finish off that 3601. And the first round in, another round in, and the third, and finishes him off and wins the game. He took a hit for 122, but he picks up a Top Gun. He was ammo-racked at the last moment. That was unfortunate, but it doesn't really matter because he didn't actually have to. That wouldn't have affected him until he actually had to reload, but he did have a repair kit. So, end of battle over. And the win rate recorded was 57-54, which is very high. So, let's have a look and see what he did on the results. And it's a second class tanker for IndianaDel of W-UNI in the AMX 1357 GF. He also picked up a bruiser medal for getting at least 5 critical hits, crew incapacitations or module damage. He got 6 in that one. And he got a duelist medal because he took out 2 tanks that damaged him during the battle, and he killed them, as well as a fire for effect for dealing more damage than the hit points of his own vehicle. He got the high caliber for dealing the most damage in the battle, at least 20% of the enemy hit points. And finally, when he killed the 3601, he picked up a Top Gun for killing at least 6 of the enemy. Now, he did 2,296 hit points of damage. Now, that's nearly double the score of the T-67. He managed to get 6 kills, which is double what the Panzerkampffalcon 4 managed to get. And he managed to get a base XP of 1,211. And again, that's quite a bit higher than the T-67 on his own team. He fired 34 rounds, got 33 direct hits, 29 penetrations. He did damage of 2,296 hit points, of which 274 were at more than 300 meters. It's more of a close action tank, the 1357. He received 5 hits and they were all penetration. The armor is still fairly weak on this tank, but of course it makes up for it with its maneuverability, speed and firepower. He spotted 1 enemy vehicle, he damaged 8 of the enemy and killed 6 of them, and he did damage assistance of 517 hit points. And that mostly comes down to the artillery rounds on 3601, allowing the Crusader SP to see the target and put some rounds in to soften him up before he went in to finish him off. On a premium account, he earned 71,681 credits, and he got a personal missions payout of 5,000 credits, meaning that after repair and ammunition resupply, he had 70,222 credits left over. Now, this just goes to show, if you use AP ammo, which is relatively cheap, you can make a honking great profit of this tank. It is one of those keepers that if you want to run an expensive account by spending lots of premium ammo on your tier 10 tanks, having a tank like this means you can generate huge amounts of credits to then afford to run a tier 10 account. He received 1,817 XP, and it was ×3 for the first victory of the day, and he got a personal missions payout of 454 and a premium payout of 363 XP, bringing his total to 6,268 experience points in one game. Now, that is a pretty massive total, but after all, this is a ×3 weekend, so it is going to be generating large figures, but it's still very welcome. So, I think, what do I think about the AMX 1357? I think it's a great little tank, especially if you've got an ELC Evan 90, because they complement each other. The ELC Evan 90 is one of those tanks which can either act as a passive scout or an active scout. It's got a nice hit and run technique, whereas the 1357 is more of an assassin who will go in and finish off a tank very, very quickly once he's isolated it. The Evan is more of the tank that will go in, hit, and then disappear quickly into the distance without without even slowing down to stop and fire. He'll just hit and run and go. The 1357 goes in, circles the enemy until the enemy is dead, and then disappears into the distance before the enemy can do anything about it. So they've got the same characteristics. They can both be used as scouts, but the AMX 1357 is definitely one of those tanks you want to have in your armory if you're going to be playing serious light tanks, because it is absolutely stonking fun. So that's the replay. If you like this replay, please give it a like and do subscribe to our channel, and hopefully if you it'll be your replay will be featuring in the very next video.